Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay casted by myself. Now, this video is going to be unique on a number of fronts. First of all, I'm changing up how I actually record these games. I used to record with fraps, and the microphone would like go through fraps, and then it would do all that stuff, and I didn't think the sound quality was that good. So now I'm recording the video with fraps and the audio with something else. So hopefully it comes out a little bit better than before. And it's also unique in that in this game I want to make it how to explain this, audio only. So while I am going to be providing the video, this is going to be intended for just audio. So if you want to live through the experience and see if it's effective or not, which I would appreciate, so you can leave feedback on whether or not that's something worth pursuing, then you can just go ahead and minimize this or close your eyes, but still listen to it and see if it has a decent effect, because of course I still want to be entertaining, still want to be able to communicate what's going on in an efficient manner, but without the video. So I'm just going to try that out. And anyway, in this game we have coLCatz starting on the left side of the map at about the 9 o'clock position. Yes, the 9 o'clock position of MLG Shattered Temple, and on at the 6 o'clock position, probably 6:15 position actually, we have the blue Protoss player coLrsvp. And this is MLG, so that makes me think, actually let me put my status on busy really quick so I don't get any messages, but this is an MLG map, so it is not ladder, probably a practice game. And immediately we see coLrsvp getting a pylon down on the low ground and also putting down a forge. Of course, in the natural expansion of Shattered Temple, there's a decently sized choke here, and coLrsvp placing a pylon in the middle of that choke and starting off the wall with the forge right next to his ramp. coLCatz sees all of this happening. He has an overlord seeing what is going on, and yes, these players are close position and both in complexity. And remember, I think it is a practice game, so should be a pretty exciting game. We have coLCatz putting down a pretty early spawning pool at about 12, also getting that gas, mining that gas straight away. Probably will take guys out of gas at 100 after he finishes that metabolic speed boost, after he gets enough gas for that, and then he'll put those drones back in minerals. But his drone count is pretty decent at this point in the game, so not really saving up any larva to do any sort of crazy zergling aggression, at least at this point in the game. Back in coLrsvp's base, we already have a Nexus going down from him and a cannon. Remember, this is MLG Shattered Temple, so it's a little bit risky, but I mean, some people can pull it off. And actually, coLCatz put down a hatchery in RSVP's base at the top side, but RSVP immediately scouts it out and puts a pylon out of the vision of coLCatz. So I don't think Katz knows that RSVP saw it. In fact, I'm looking at the vision of coLCatz right now, and he does not see a pylon in that vision, but there is a pylon there from RSVP. So RSVP will definitely be putting forges, be putting cannons rather around that hatchery to keep that from doing any damage whatsoever. Probably wants to kill that as soon as it comes up. But something to keep in mind is he doesn't want to build those cannons too early, because he wants Katz to finish up with that investment, wants him to waste some money in. Right now, the hatchery is about 70%. RSVP placing down one cannon, placing down two cannons, and keep in mind, Katz still doesn't see what's going on. Still doesn't see any cannons, doesn't see any pylons, so definitely doesn't know that his opponent knows that that is there. It is about 90% of the way done. I'll keep you tuned on that. And the roach horn is about halfway done, so when the hatchery completes, Katz will be able to start making roaches, and Katz also put down an expansion as natural hatchery just now completed, and while the cannons are finishing. So the cannons are going to start going to work on this hatchery. Two cannons really nicely placed, and Katz is trying to make a queen as fast as possible, not making any roaches just yet out of the larva. The roach horn is not yet complete. Roach horn just now finished. Any roaches being made? No, the larvae are just staying there for now. Actually, just now making 3 roaches out of those eggs from the hatchery inside coLrsvp's base. Keep in mind, RSVP still has his natural expansion down, trying to get that nicely saturated. Has his main nicely saturated as well, so definitely keeping up on the probe count. The cannon's going to town on this hatchery. The queen finally pops and runs away for dear life. And does it get away? Yes, the queen does get away. So do 3 roaches. So coLCatz gets a queen and 3 roaches out of range of the cannons as the hatchery goes down. The broodlings start to go to work on those cannons, and Katz immediately goes to the mineral line of coLrsvp with 3 roaches and 1 queen. The probes are going to scatter for dear life. 1 lone zealot is going to come try to help these probes deal with these roaches. The queen starts to target down the assimilator, and the probes get a nice surround on the roaches. Oh, just a reminder, there are 3 roaches here, and the probes have a decent surround but end up running away. Too much damage being done. A nice transfuse goes down on one of the roaches, and RSVP is quite simply not mining from his main base now. Katz is left with 2 roaches and 1 queen, targeting down that Nexus as we speak, and RSVP only has one Zealot to do any damage whatsoever, cornering out a Zealot as we speak, getting both his gases at his natural expansion and transferring every single one of his probes to his natural expansion. And the Zealot is trying to target down the Queen, does successfully target down the Queen, so RSVP manages to take down the Queen. That was in his base, but coLCatz still has 2 roaches, preventing any mining whatsoever from the main base of RSVP. He has 2 Zealots trying to decide if they want to engage the 2 roaches, but probably not such a good idea. Excuse me. Looks like the roaches have gone to the high ground of the natural expansion of Complexity RSVP, currently targeting down that similar. The Zealots are coming in, trying to trap those roaches, and Catz not watching this for now. The roaches are going to get killed here. It looks like the roaches are trying to do as much damage as they can, and one does end up surviving. Has about, just now got killed. A Stalker came from RSVP. So finally, all those forces from coLCatz are cleaned up by Complexity RSVP. So definitely handled that early cheese quite well, I would say. However, he did lose a lot of mining time in his main expansion, just now returning those probes to mine and also getting his 2 gases right there. We'll have to keep an eye on the rest of Complexity RSVP's build as he gets 2 bases fully saturated. And back in coLCatz's base, he does have a layer up, has 2 gases at his main being mined, and also 2 gases at his natural expansion being mined. Also 2 spine crawlers at the front of his natural expansion. How many units does he have on the field? He only has 2 Zerglings and 2 Queens on the field at the moment, along with 46 drones ahead of the 37 probes of his opponent. So not really fearing any sort of aggression from Complexity RSVP at the moment, really using all that time he was harassing in Complexity RSVP's base to really build up that drone count. And as I say that, coLCatz building nothing but Zerglings at the moment. I guess he feels comfortable with his drone count of 46. Going to stick right there for the time being. Also putting a Spire down. That is about 70% of the way done in the back of his natural expansion. So as soon as that completes, I would expect him to make a lot of mutas, seeing as how he's already collected 900 gas and the Spire is now at 95%. So as soon as that is going to finish, I'm assuming 10 mutas will be coming out from coLCatz. And back in RSVP's base, we do have about 5 gateways down, 6 in total, all turning into warp gates, and +1 weapons is about to finish. He's also moving down to the middle of the map of this MLG Shattered Temple map. Remember, they're close positions, approaching the watchtower with 2 Zealots, a probe, and a Stalker. I expect him to be making a forward pylon anytime now. Warping in 5 Zealots outside of his main expansion, put a pylon at the very edge of his base there so he can warp in on the low ground. Now proceeding forward to the natural expansion of coLCatz with about 7 Zealots, 1 Stalker targeting down an Overlord, but a bunch of Zerglings coming in from coLCatz, backing up, trying to use these spine crawlers to the advantage. A bunch of Mutilas do pop at the moment, and there's only 1 Stalker here to defend against those Mutilas, so RSVP really needs to warp in some more Stalkers here. The Stalker does get eliminated, only Zealots remain, running for their lives from all of these Mutilas that have just popped from coLCatz, coming forward with a bunch of Zerglings at the same time, getting a nice surround onto those Zealots, and taking out every single one of those Zealots, so RSVP's push did absolutely nothing in that situation. Now coLCatz is going to try to harass with all of these Mutilas. There are about 10 in total approaching the main of RSVP. He's trying to build a cannon in the middle line. It is not quite done. Only 2 Stalkers here to try to deal with those Mutilas. They're going to town on those probes, but 4 Stalkers from the natural expansion come to try to help these existing 2 Stalkers deal with these Mutilas, and Catz does run away straight to the natural expansion. That's the advantage of being a Zerg on this map, and using those Mutilas, you can go in between the natural and the main very fast and do a lot of damage, and it is a headache for the Protoss player. And there we go, RSVP moving down 3 Stalkers to his natural expansion, trying to defend from these Mutilas trying to get a good shot, a money shot I should say, on a bunch of stacked probes, but does not get a shot off before those Stalkers come in. And let's take tabs of things really quick. coLCatz has plenty of Zerglings in the middle of the map, about 10, along with a bunch of Mutilas in the air. Let me go open up the units tab. coLCatz has 15 Mutilas total and 25 Zerglings, along with 15 drones, to the 50 probes and 8 Stalkers of RSVP. And as we speak, Catz is taking his 3rd and 4th base, 1 at the gold and 1 at the top left. Also has an Overlord in the bottom right, spewing out that creep, making sure that RSVP doesn't get an expansion down without him knowing about it. Also, let me look at the income tab really quick just to see the probe count compared to the drone count. 54 to 49 in favor of the blue Protoss player RSVP. So I would say coLCatz is in a pretty good situation here. Has so many Mutilas on the field, 4 in production. So 17 right now, so that's 17 plus 4 is most commonly 21. So we'll have 21 Mutilas very shortly coming forward to the main of RSVP. But RSVP has a bunch of cannons and Stalkers here to meet those Mutilas. But Catz choosing to engage anyway, coming forward with these Mutilas. Not sure if this is such a good idea. 2 Mutalisks get killed and about 3 Stalkers and a cannon get destroyed, so not sure about that trade from a coLCatz, not really doing any economic damage and losing a couple of those heavy gas cost Mutalisks in the process. At the same time, coLRsvp does have a Templar Archives down and is researching Psionic Storm, also getting another gateway and a robotics facility, so his total structure count is 1 forge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gateways, a Templar Archives, and a robotics facility. Also currently upgrading +2 weapons as we speak, and coLCatz coming forward once again with these mules, trying to do some economic damage, going straight to the middle line of coLRsvp. Targets down a cannon that was being made, but that cannon was immediately canceled by RSVP, and RSVP comes down with his Stalkers, so Katz was not able to do any damage with those Mutalisks. And once again, let's look at the units tab really quick. 21 Mutalisks on the field, and now 3 Roaches, so coLCatz looks like he's going to transition to some sort of Roach-heavy army. He does have 33 existing Zerglings on the field and 64 drones to the 62 probes of his Protoss opponent. Looks like coLRsvp is going to move to the third, to his natural third, I should say, picking off that overload that is spewing creep. He will have to wait a little bit for that creep to dissipate before he can put down that Nexus, of course. And immediately, coLCatz reacting by bringing all of his Mutalisks to the natural third on the bottom right corner of this map, taking out the probe, so the probe will be delayed from putting down that Nexus. And RSVP moving forward with 3, 4, all of his Stalkers to try to deal with these Mutalisks. 3 get caught off guard really quick, and Katz choosing to engage is not sure about this decision. RSVP does have Blink, but that is so many Mutalisks by Katz, trying to micro as best as he can, does not want to lose any Mutalisks, but wants to do enough damage with them at the same time. Again, he has so many Mutalisks on the field right now. He's at 20 right now, losing 1 in that engagement, but taking down 2 Stalkers, so probably worth it in that regard. Back in Katz's base, he has a bunch of Roaches queued up to his natural expansion, along with a lot of Zerglings and an Overseer, along with a Spore Caller, making sure he doesn't get caught off guard by any Dark Templar. And keep in mind, he has his 3rd and 4th bases nicely saturated. Of course, the natural 3rd is in the top left, and his 4th base, we'll call it, is the gold expansion. Does have both those gases nicely saturated. Coming back in with these Mutalisks, but the Stalkers blink forward and deal a lot of damage to Katz, so not the best control from Katz right there. RSVP able to get a few free Mutalisk kills, and at the same time warping in 2 Stalkers might do a push here. I'm not sure how effective it will be, as Katz is ahead in supply, 193 to 126. Let's look at the units tab again. 19 Mutalisks, 19 Roaches, and 32 Zerglings for coLCatz. 3 Archons, 21 Stalkers, up to 25, and 1 Templar from coLRsvp. An engagement might happen in the middle of the map here. It's a big open space, so it would be in favor of Katz in this. If they were to engage right now, an Observer does get taken down here, as well as a forward probe, and RSVP is trying to decide whether or not he wants to commit. No Templars in this army, just 3 Archons, about 20 Stalkers, and 2 Zealots coming forward to coLCatz's natural side of the map, I should say, targeting down some Roaches. There's a pretty big engagement here. coLCatz bringing in some Infestors as well, getting some nice fungal growths off onto RSVP's army, sweeping in with a bunch of Roaches, Mutalisks, and all of his Zerglings, doing so much damage here. I don't think RSVP has enough. He is down in supply now, 168 to 84, and definitely loses that engagement. Katz is left with plenty of Roaches, still maxed, 6 Infestors, and then production tab, 16 Roaches on the way, along with Neural Parasite, picking off a free Templar on the way to the natural expansion of RSVP, but a huge storm goes on top of all of coLCatz's army, but is it going to matter? It hit every single unit, it seemed like, and all these units are extremely low health, but Katz is just charging in to the natural expansion of coLRsvp, throws in some infested Terrans, and that's enough to encourage the GG from coLRsvp. So ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you so much for watching. My name is Axel. If you enjoyed this cast, let me know. Once again, this was intended for MP3. So, like, if you're in the car and you want to listen to some Starcraft, turn on Axel and turn on this game. If it's effective, let me know. If it's not, I'll abandon the plan. But I think it'd be good, because a lot of people go on long car trips or something, probably want to listen to a Starcraft game, and I think this would be ideal if they don't have a laptop and they're just in the car. They can't watch anything, but they can listen. So, once again, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want. See you guys next time.